Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me in my webinar today. We're just waiting for a few other people to enter the room, and then we will get started. Today, we're going to be talking about the best EU citizenship and residency options. Now that we know that the Spanish Golden Visa is gone, or at least it's going, we've got the dates for that. So we'll cover whether there is still time to apply for the Spanish Golden Visa, and more importantly, really, what are the best alternatives for you out there? There is a particularly good alternative, which I'll come on to, which has many sort of unique benefits, which I think a lot of people will be looking at. So I'll cover that today as well. So while people are just entering the room, we've got a few more. Let me just share my screen and I can go through and talk you through what we're going to cover today. So bear with me 2 seconds. Okay, here we go. So yeah, we're going to look at the best EU residency options and residency and citizenship options. My name's Sam Daynes. I'm one of the senior advisors here at Holborn Assets. On the screen there, you've got my WhatsApp and phone number. Please make a note of this because you contact me on WhatsApp or by phone. If you've got any personal questions at the end of this or you want to review your own situation, you can get hold of me on WhatsApp or by phone. My number is 447969059122. That is actually a UK number, but I'm not based in the UK. I work between our Spanish office and our Portugal office, but I've got a UK number there and I am available on WhatsApp. You've got my email there as well, which is sam.daynes@holbornassets.com. So again, feel free to drop me an email with any questions you have, or if you want to book an appointment, feel free to contact me there. You will find me on various social media platforms. It might be worth, if anyone looks at my YouTube channel, it's at WorldCBI or WorldCBI. If you search that, you'll find my details. But I do update that regularly with videos on the different Golden Visa opportunities that are out there. And with my attempt to move with technology, you've actually got a QR code there that you can scan. It accesses my diary and it will then tell you when I'm available. So we do free consultations. Everyone's situation is different, so we can look at your individual situation. We do all the different Golden Visas that are out there. So if you're not sure which one is best for you, feel free to contact me. So that's that. I'll put that up at the end of the slideshow as well, so that you know, so you can get hold of me. And yeah, we'll get going then. So yeah, make a note of all that on there, and let's start with regards to what we're going to cover today. So first of all, I'll tell you a little bit about Holborn Assets and Holborn Pass. So I work for Holborn Assets and Holborn Pass. Holborn Pass, which I'll come on to, was set up as part of Holborn Assets to really tackle people who are looking for global mobility through Golden Visa programs. So not just in Spain, not in Portugal, it could be any EU country or any country outside of the EU. So we specify in all these different areas. So we'll tell you a little bit about who we are. We'll talk about residency and citizenship by investment and exactly what that means, because there is a difference between residency and citizenship, and it is important to understand the difference. We give you the latest news on the Spanish Golden Visa. So a lot of people want to know, is there still time? So I'll cover that. There is not an awful lot of time left, but I will cover that, and you can and you'll know really where you stand. Depends on what your situation is as to whether you're going to have time or not. So I'll cover that today as well. And then most importantly, as I said before, is what is the best alternative option? And I'll give you a spoiler now. It's actually Portugal. The Portuguese Golden Visa program, which some people thought had been withdrawn. It certainly hasn't been withdrawn. It was changed back in 2023, meaning that you couldn't invest in property in order to qualify for the Golden Visa. However, there are many other investments you can make that do qualify. So it's actually the most popular of all the EU residency and citizenship programs. It's got some very unique benefits. So we'll go through that. And really, that is something that can replace the Spanish Golden Visa, even for people looking to live in Spain. The Portugal Golden Visa program will allow you to do that. And I'll come on to why that's the case and how that works. I'll talk to you about what the process and the benefits are for anybody that's interested. So the process, how long it takes, what the benefits are in order to get the Golden Visa and ultimately the passport of Portugal. So we'll talk through that, and we'll give you some example investment options that we have available. So there are lots of different investment options for Portugal. They actually start at 168,000 euros. It's the lowest entry point. Now, considering The Portuguese Golden Visa, the qualifying amount is 500,000. There are many different ways you can do that for less money, and that starts at 168,000, and I'll come on to them. So that's really useful to know. And if we've got time, we'll do any questions and answers. As I say, we've got a lot of people on this webinar, so if there are lots of questions coming in, you can email them to me directly, and I will get back to you and answer anything that you may not know. Right, so let's start off about Holborn Assets and Holborn Pass. So who are we? So basically, Holborn Assets, we're a global wealth management firm. We started back in 1998. So we've been going 27 years now, 27 years this year. So we've been going a long time. We're a British family firm. So we've got over 500 employees all around the globe. We've got 20 international offices. We've got one in Spain, which is where I work out a lot of the time, and we've got one in Portugal. So I work between the two offices. So our office in Portugal is in the Algarve. Our office in Spain is in the Malaga region. So you can actually you can drive between offices, which is one of the great things of Europe. You can drive between the offices. It takes about three hours to get between the two offices. A really nice drive. You go via Seville. So I work between the two offices that we have, but we have 20 international offices all around the world, and we've got around 25,000 clients. Now, the idea of having these different offices is that we're fully regulated and qualified in every area that we operate. So if people do use us for a golden visa or whatever that may be, we can actually give you financial advice as well on what the best investments are, how to structure all your assets, depending on the location that you're moving to. So it puts us in a very good position to advise people. But around sort of 7 years ago, we had lots of clients that were asking about the golden visa programs. What's the best thing to invest in order to get a golden visa? So it made sense for us to look at that as a business area. So we created Holborn Pass. Because our background is obviously investments and we are a wealth management firm, that put us in a very good position to find the very best investments that will qualify you for the golden visa of your choice. We also have very exclusive investments as well. So we structure particular investments, for example, where you can have interest paid up front. We have returns guaranteed to get the golden visa. So there's lots of things that we've got that aren't available anywhere else. It puts us in a very good position. In 2023, we haven't got the figures through for 2024 quite yet, but in 2023, we did over 300 Portuguese golden visas. We were the #1 agent, so we were the number one provider for the golden visa in Portugal. And we've had 100% success rate. So anybody we take on as an application who goes ahead, we'll let you know whether we can do it or not based on your situation. And if we can, we've got 100% success rate. So it gives you a bit of confidence in terms of who you're dealing with and that we can get these applications through on time for you. We won numerous industry awards there on the right hand side in the International Investment Awards. We've got an excellent rating on Trustpilot as well. So people that have used us before, you can have confidence in using us. So that's about us. Enough about us. As I say, I work between our Portugal and our Spanish office. I'm very familiar myself with the process of actually getting a visa in order to live in these countries. So I know the difficulties that you can come across. So I'm here to help you through for every step of the way. So in terms of what we do as a service for our clients, anybody looking for a golden visa, so whatever location that may be, so whether that's Spain, which is shortly to be going, whether it's Portugal, or whether it's Malta, Greece, or USA, wherever it may be, we provide a fully packaged end-to-end service. So what that is, I won't read through the slide here, but what that essentially involves is that we get all your residence permit applications, we find the investment opportunities for you, we carry out the due diligence, we appoint a solicitor on your behalf as well, we help you submit your fingerprints and official photographs you'll need to do to get your visas. We open you a bank account of your chosen country because you need to have a bank account. We get you a personal tax number. We can help you with your tax returns as well once you're set up. We get you the visa itself, and we can even help you apply for citizenship as well. So we do everything essentially. And the majority of this process, you don't actually physically have to come to Portugal. It can be done remotely by us. So we get you to do a power of attorney, which allows us to open you the bank account, which allows us to get the tax numbers for you. So we do everything, makes it as easy as possible for yourself. So we get you the investment opportunities, we manage them, we do the whole process. So it makes it very, very easy. And our clients love that side of the service. So let's talk about citizenship and residency by investment, and what exactly does it mean? Well, quite simply, it's to invest in a foreign country's economy, either by real estate, donations, business, funds, or bonds. And by doing that, you are granted residency or citizenship for that country. Now, some of the Golden Visa programs have changed over the last few years, or 5 years really, whereas real estate is becoming less of an option for people, because there's a lot of the governments think there's a distinct correlation between the prices of houses, the prices of real estate, because of foreign investment. So they've eliminated real estate from some of the Golden Visa programs. And in some countries, such as Spain, they've eliminated the Golden Visa program full stop, because they figured it was not, not helping their economy, not just with real estate, but with the all areas. So a lot of these Golden Visa programs are changing, but there are many still available, which I'll come on to. Now, what this gives you is basically residency or citizenship. So residency is in exchange for your contribution, you'll get a residency permit. So I've got a permit myself, and that gives you the right to live, to work, and to retire unrestricted in that particular country. So in my case, that might be Spain or Portugal. So you can stay there for as long as you want. And for all intents and purposes, it's very similar to having a passport of that country, but it's not a passport, it's just a residency card. Now, after a period of time, you can change with some programs, not all programs, you can change the residency into citizenship, which essentially is becoming a full citizen with full citizen rights, the right to vote. You'll get a passport of that country. Now, it's normally after a period of time and a certain set of conditions, you can change that residency for citizenship. Now, in the EU, citizenship is such a brilliant thing, if you like. There's 27 Schengen countries, and by becoming a citizen, by becoming a passport holder of an EU country, that allows you then unrestricted access to all the other 27 Schengen countries. You have the right then to live, to work, and to retire in any of the EU countries. So you can start off in Portugal, move to Spain, and it just makes life really, really easy. So I'll come on to a bit more about that, but there is a difference, and citizenship is a really great thing if you can get it. Now, these are the countries that we do, okay? So it's quite a busy slide. You don't need to read all of this, but let me talk you through it. So the citizenship programs on the left-hand side, now these aren't European countries. The majority of them won't be European countries. But in return for investing money, if you can see on that second line down, if you invest the amount of money shown there into that country, then they will give you a passport, essentially citizenship, for investing that amount of money. Now, all these programs are very different in terms of their terms and conditions and what you need to do, what type of investment is. But essentially, it's you handing over money and buying a passport. Now, they're not as popular, the ones on the left-hand side. Doesn't by any means mean that they're not popular with some people, but they're not as popular because they're not EU programs. What a lot of people tend to be interested in is the EU programs. Now, the EU programs, the majority of which are on the right-hand side, are residency programs. So essentially, you get your Golden Visa, which is like a VIP pass to that country. And then after a period of time, as you can see in this top row there, you can change that residency into citizenship. You can apply then for the passport. So with Portugal, it's 5 years. So in 5 years, you can change your residency card into a passport for Portugal. Now, I don't want to give you any spoilers at this moment, but where Portugal remains so unique and so popular is during that 5 years that you have the qualifying asset, you only need to spend 1 week per year in Portugal. So you basically could just have a holiday to Portugal every year without actually becoming tax resident. Nothing like that. You can hold the asset that you need, go up to Portugal 1 week every year, which is not, let's face it, the hardest thing to have to do. And then in year 5, you can apply and get your passport. There are a couple other things you need to do, but it's relatively simple. And then you will have an EU passport. And then you are free to move and to live wherever you want in the EU 27 Schengen countries. So you can then move around. And for example, if you have that in Portugal, you can then move to Spain and live in Spain in 5 years. But during them 5 years, of course, you can live unrestricted in Portugal, or you could decide to stay where you live at the moment. So it could be a future plan that you put in place now. Other programs we have are Greece, but 7 years. It's longer to get your passport. USA, obviously not Europe, but that's 5 years. Spain is actually 10 years. There is a caveat with Spain that if you've got an ex-Spanish colony passport when you apply, so there are various countries, including countries such as Brazil. There's lots of countries on the list, and essentially by having a passport in one of those countries, you can convert it in only 2 years. But the difference with Spain is that you have to be tax resident. But if you do the 10-year option, so most people who apply, you have to be tax resident for the last 5 years. So you have to live in Spain for 5 years. Whereas with Portugal, you do not. During that 5 years, you only need to spend 1 week per year. Now, the minimum investment for both Spain and Portugal is 500,000. We know Spain is going, okay, so there won't be that option anymore, and we'll come on to when that's going to be withdrawn, but we know it's 500,000. With Portugal, it's 500,000, but you cannot be in real estate. It has to be into other areas, which I'll come on to, but there's some exciting things you can do in those other areas. And as part of your application, whether it's Spain or Portugal, you can include your children. So that's up to the age of 21. Even above 21, you can do if we can prove that they're dependent. You can add on dependent parents as well. So we have to prove that they're dependent. It's relatively easy to do, but we can guide you along with exactly what you need to do. But you can put your dependent parents on there as well. And of course, your partners and your spouse. So essentially, you can have one investment into that Golden Visa program, but that one investment you can tag on lots and lots of people. I think we've done one that I think had 9 or 10 people on it on one application, because we had parents, children, the spouse, partner, and you can do it, and it's one investment. So it's really good for you and your family. And then obviously for your family, then they've got the access to the healthcare, to education, to access to pensions, and that could be a huge benefit in some of these European countries. So as I say, if anybody's interested in any of these programs, we do all of them. It's just today I'm going to particularly talk around Portugal because it is by far the most popular and the best, especially now because Spain is going to be going. So as we say, what's the benefits of an EU passport? Well, an EU passport, it's really like having, so let's say you had a Portuguese passport through the Golden Visa opportunity. Essentially, it's like having 27 passports in one, because you can live in any of the 27 EU countries. You can see on there what the EU countries are, and there are a lot of them that you could then go and set up at. So people who are watching this who have an interest in Spain, bear in mind, if there isn't time to do the Spanish one now, which I'll come on to, the Portugal one, the Portuguese one, after 5 years, when you get the passport, you can then go and live in Spain, and you can live unrestricted in Spain because you have that EU passport. Obviously, your initial investment is through Portugal, but you never need to live in Portugal because you only need to spend 1 week per year. You can retire in any of the 27 countries. You can work in any of the 27 countries. You can study, and you can open a business in any of the countries. And it also gives you visa-free travel to 185 countries around the world. So it really is a massive benefit, the EU passport. And for how long this is going to be available, and I think it's probably worth saying at this point that there's been numerous changes. Obviously, Portugal changed their Golden Visa scheme back in 2023, where they removed real estate as an option. Moving forward, obviously, Spain have now withdrawn theirs, which I'll come on to. So we don't know how long they're going to be available for. So anybody watching this that even has a little bit of an interest in this, it's worth inquiring now because it's fantastic at the moment, the Portugal one. Absolutely fantastic. But obviously, we don't know how long it's actually going to be available for. So let's start with the news about the Spanish Golden Visa. A lot of people may know this. I've done numerous videos. As I say, if you find my YouTube channel at World CBI, you'll see lots of videos I've done over the years on the Spanish Golden Visa. But sadly, following last year's announcement towards the beginning of last year, it took quite a while for it to go through all the different avenues that it has to go through. But on the 3rd of January this year, 2025, the law has now been officially passed. So they've essentially put it into the official state gazette. And the law in Spain is once you put it in there, on the 3rd of January, the official withdrawal takes place 3 months, 3 months from there. So basically, we've got till the 3rd of April. So the 3rd of April 2025 is the cutoff date. You have to have had your application in for the Golden Visa. Now, with regards to the Spanish Golden Visa, if you see some of my old videos, you'll see what offering we have. As of the moment of putting this out, it's the 27th of February today, we still can get them through for the Spanish Golden Visa, but we are right at the end of the time limit, because what we do, we have particular offerings for the Spanish Golden Visa, whereas although the qualifying amount's 500,000, we still have availability on, we have a hotel option where someone can invest 350,000, so it's not even 500,000. You're paid 150,000 rental income up front by the hotel, essentially. So that gives you the 500,000 without you having to physically put in 500,000, 350,000 by yourself, 150,000 by the hotel, which is Hotel San Blas. It's very big hotel chain in Spain. I think they've got about 40 hotels, I believe, all over the country. Huge chain. They're just opening a new one towards the end of this year in Madrid, and they raise money through private investment, and that qualifies for the Spanish Golden Visa. So they still have a few available, and anybody committing to do that, we can get that through in time. Essentially, you invested 350,000, and in year 10, when you can qualify for the passport, there's a guaranteed buyback for 500,000. The hotel writes into the contract that they will buy it back off you. So essentially, that apartment in their hotel, they will buy back off you for 500,000 in year 10. So essentially, you pay 350,000, you get 500,000 back. You're getting a return over those 10 years, and you'll get the Spanish Golden Visa. And in year 10, when you sell the hotel apartment back, essentially you've got a guaranteed return and you can have the passport in Spain. But we have very limited time, because as you imagine, we've got to get the deeds done on that particular hotel, and we've got to get the application in. And bear in mind, we've only now really got March to do that. We have enough time because we've got a team in place here that can get it done in time, and we're even allowing people to initially put down a 50,000 deposit if they want to, and the remainder of the money, that allows us to get the deeds done, and the remainder of the money is due within 6 months. We try to make it as helpful as possible for people who maybe have issues with the cash flow, but as I say, we're very near now the end of being able to do this. So anybody watching this and they're interested, immediately get in contact with me, because we still have availability, but you need to be quick on it. So yeah, what to expect. Any applications for the Golden Visa in Spain need to be submitted by the 3rd of April. After this, there'll be no further Golden Visa applications, and that's via any route. So not just property like they did in Portugal 2 years ago, but that's any route, whether that's investing into funds, investing into business, whether it's donations. None of them are going to be available. The good news with Spain, anybody who is already in the program, it will be honoured. Okay, so if you are already in the Spanish Golden Visa program, you're protected under the current conditions to which you were signed up. So you can keep renewing that Golden Visa indefinitely once you're in. So once you're in, you're in. So it's a really good program, the Spanish one. But we're right at the end of it now. So anybody looking to do this, get in contact with me ASAP. However, if it's all too much and you think, well, I haven't got time to do this, it's too much, I haven't got enough time to think about it, all that sort of thing. Well, there is a really good alternative to the Spanish Golden Visa. And of course, as I mentioned before, that is Portugal. So I'll start off by going, why Portugal? I mean, if you've been to Portugal, you'll know it's beautiful. I mean, I drive up to the Algarve quite regularly. I went up to Porto a couple of weeks ago, which is beautiful. You've got Lisbon as well, which is a stunning place. It's really nice. The people in Portugal are so friendly. They really are friendly people. It's such a nice country. But remember, Portugal can be used as a way of getting your EU citizenship to allow you to live in other countries, not just Portugal. But why Portugal? Well, it's the most welcoming country to expats, and that was done on a poll in Internations, who we also partner with. The 3rd most peaceful country in the world, according to the Global Peace Index. The best retirement destination in the 2020 annual Global Retirement Index. So that's, I mean, it is lovely. The lifestyle in Portugal is very laid back, and the beaches on the Algarve as well. We didn't go into that. They're fantastic. 12th best public healthcare system. as well. 16th best education system. But remember that this, a lot of people, not a lot of people, some people will want to ultimately live in Portugal, but other people can use this as a stepping stone to the rest of Europe, to get your citizenship, to get your passport that will allow you to live in different parts of Europe. So the Portugal Golden Visa program. Well, it started back in 2012, so it's been going a long time now, 13 years it's been going. And since that time, there's been well over 10,000 approved Golden Visa applications. And that's 27,000 people as well, because obviously each application itself will include partners, spouses and that. So there's a lot of people who have been approved through the Golden Visa program. And the first citizenships were granted in 2018 without applicants living in Portugal. So what we mean by that is that obviously the program started in 2012. People bought the investments, whether that was property or the funds, whatever they did, but they had to have it for 5 years. So in 2018, that was when a lot of people then started to have the 5 years. They'd held that asset for 5 years. They'd never lived in Portugal, but they'd held the asset for 5 years. And they became EU citizens. They got their Portugal passport in 2018. So we've been through the process many times, and now since then there's been loads and loads of people in Portugal. It might be worth me saying this at this point, just in case anybody's looked into the Portugal Golden Visa. There was quite a big backlog last year because it's such a popular program, as you can imagine, with all these benefits. There was a huge backlog, but late last year, early this year, the government announced that they will clear the backlogs by June this year. They've basically got a different body that now are overseeing the applications. They're doing everything now electronically, which you would have thought they would have done initially, but no. So it's electronic, so things are going to clear up. They've got 50% more staff now working to clear the applications as well. So from that perspective, it's going to be a lot better moving forward, because this is only going to get more and more popular now that the Spanish Golden Visa is no longer available. And I'll come on to another thing about this as well, because there was a backlog. A lot of people will ask, well, when does the 5 years, and I'll cover this a little bit later on, but I'll say it now, when does the 5 years start in terms of getting your citizenship, your passport? Is it when you're physically given your residency card? And that's what it used to be. So when you actually got your residency card, but that was sometimes taking up to a year for people to get because there was a backlog. Obviously, moving forward, that shouldn't be the case. So that was the problem before, but now it actually starts from when you apply for the residency. So once you've got the asset in place and you apply for a residency, your 5 years starts ticking from then, not from when you actually get the residency. So even if there is a bit of a delay, you don't need to worry about it in terms of getting the passport. So it's raised over 6 billion in terms of foreign direct investment for Portugal. So it's raised a lot of money for the economy. Any non-EU citizen can apply. You've got to have no criminal record, or if you do have a criminal record, it's got to be obviously minor offences. As part of the process, you have to have you have to submit criminal records. FBI checks if you're in America, and we'll tell you, as I say, we get everything together for you, so we would help you through the whole process, but be mindful of that. And as I said before, you can include your spouse, your children and your parents. So on your one investment application, you can have a lot of people included. And as I say, your Portuguese passport in 5 years with only having to stay 1 week per year in Portugal, which is, as I say, a holiday to Portugal once a year. And the Golden Visa benefits, so the actual Golden Visa, this is before you get the passport. You can live and work in Portugal. You can freely travel and stay within, there's 27 Schengen countries, not 26. There was 26. You can establish a business in all of these countries, should you so wish. There is a lot of people, well, some people may have heard of NHR, non-habitual tax regime. It's a 10-year tax benefit that you get if you do become tax resident in Portugal. To become tax resident, you have to basically spend more than half a year in Portugal. Now, they abolished NHR 2 years ago, or just over a year ago, year and a half ago. It's gone, but they did replace it with NHR 2.0. So it is still available. It's lost some of the benefits it had in terms of dividends and a few other benefits on foreign income, and it is a bit more restrictive as to who can actually apply for NHR. But we've got advisors here, wealth managers here, who can help anybody if they are looking to move to Portugal in ways to put your assets in order to maximize the tax benefits, and we can help you with all that side of it as well. But where I'm going with that is that there are some benefits in terms of the tax in Portugal, particularly for certain people. It is very friendly from a tax perspective, and you get access to world-class healthcare, education, and pension. So pretty good in terms of, for you, not just you and your family, you can all get them golden visa benefits. But then, as we say in year 5, you can get the Portuguese passport, and that's in only 5 years. Only 5 weeks physical stay is needed in Portugal during that period of time. So essentially, it's 1 week per year. I think you could do 1 week in the first year, and then you could do 2 weeks in each 2-year period. So I think you could do 2 years, 2 weeks in 1 year, if you know what I mean, and then not go the next year and then do another 2 weeks. But there's ways of doing it anyway, but it's very low amount of physical stay. The other thing you will need is a language, A2 language level. So you will have to learn the language. It's a basic language level test. It's not particularly difficult. Although for some people, I suppose, doing the language can be a bit daunting. The advantage with Portugal is, of course, you can do a crash course in this. We do it here in Spain and in Portugal. I started to learn some of the language as well. And you can do crash courses where they do it very condensed within a small amount of time. But with Portugal, you can take the language level test at any time during those 5 years. You don't have to wait till the 5 years are up and then think, oh God, I've got to do it now. You can do it before that, which, you know, to a lot of people is good. So you can do a crash course, get it out the way and know that it's done then. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. It's the 4th best passport in the world. It's a really strong passport. So for anybody just looking for a very strong EU passport, this is your route here. And you can travel to 187 countries visa free, and you can live and work anywhere in the EU, including Spain, as we said, now that that's been withdrawn, but really any of the other EU countries as well. It's just a fantastic benefit. So the process, the Portugal Golden Visa timeline. Okay, so in month 1 to 3, we get your golden visa application submitted. So basically it takes about 2 to 3 months for it to do all the bits we've got to do with you. So that's opening your bank account, getting you the tax number, which we can do remotely, getting all the documents together we need, you know, obviously a copy of your criminal record, FBI checks. We do all that. It normally takes about 3 months for us to do it. We've got a dedicated team here who are incredibly quick at getting it done, and then we essentially submit it for you. So after about 3 months, we've submitted your golden visa application. So it takes, I mean, we're thinking now it should be around 6 months to get the permit. It could be quicker now that the backlog's going to be, but it was actually previously taken up to a year, 18 months. But obviously that won't be the case moving forward. But in year 1, then once you've got your golden visa, so you've applied for it, that's when your 5 years starts ticking. Okay, then every 2 years you renew your golden visa. Okay, your renewal costs have been slashed by about 98%. It used to be quite expensive to renew the cards every 2 years, which was a bit of a downside about the Portuguese one. The Spanish one was a lot cheaper. However, they've slashed it by about 98%. So it is quite considerably cheaper now to do the renewals on that as well. Then in year 4, as I say, sorry, year 5, you can then change that to citizenship. So we can do that for you. We'll get that all submitted to the authorities, and we'll then get you your passport in year 6. So it's a really, really good offering there. In year 6, essentially, you've got an EU passport that allows you to live and work in any of the countries with only having to spend, and I keep saying this, 1 week per year during that 5 years is a massive benefit. So you can then change, you know, you can get on a passport that will allow you to live in Spain. So the investment options for the golden visa is in Portugal. So these are the options that we have. You can do any of them, but we concentrate very much on the last one. As I said before, as an investment firm, we look at what are the best ways of doing it and why are they the best ways of doing it. And I'll come on to the options we have and why we've chosen them. But we've looked at the whole different offerings out there by all providers to find out which is the best one in terms of investment value, and we've got a selection which we have available. But these are what would qualify you for a golden visa with in Portugal. So first of all, is creation of at least 10 jobs. So you can start a business that creates 10 jobs yourself. It's a bit more of a tricky one, that, because unless you've got a business already up and running and you want to maybe start an arm in Portugal, which is obviously a little bit easier. It's quite hard just to start a business and create 10 jobs, but needless to say, that will actually that will qualify you for the Golden Visa. Next one is you can invest a minimum of 500,000 into research activities. Not so popular because it's not actually an investment. It's essentially handing over money to the government towards a research facility. It's not an investment as such. So, it's probably not so surprising to hear we haven't done any of them because, you're essentially paying 500,000 for a passport. So not so popular. A cheaper option, if you're going to go down that route, is as a donation of a minimum of 250,000 into arts, national heritage and culture. Again, the same principle applies with that. It's not as popular because essentially it's not an investment. It's just a donation. So as I say, not so popular, but it remains an option if someone wanted to do that. I think we've had one person do that of all the clients we've had go through, but it does remain available. The next one we do have options on. And it's similar to number 5, but basically you can invest into a venture capital fund, so essentially an equity fund in Portugal. So it's an investment of a minimum of 500,000 in a non-real estate collective investment fund. Sounds complicated, but basically it's an investment fund in Portugal. It's got to be regulated in Portugal. The fund itself has to invest into over 60% into Portuguese stocks. So there's about 30 to 35 available funds that we can use for people that are interested in that option. But as I say, the fund itself cannot hold real estate because that all comes off the back of real estate being removed as an option for the Portuguese Golden Visa. Now, the one we focus on for our clients, and it is by far the most popular, is the last one. So basically, it's an investment of 500,000 for the reinforcement of the share capital of a Portuguese company with a maintenance of at least 10 job positions for a minimum period of 3 years. What that basically means is you invest 500,000 into a company that's up and running, and as a result of you investing that 500,000, that they create or maintain at least 10 job positions for a minimum period of 3 years. So we have multiple options on this route. But where this becomes very attractive for people, and I'll come on to some of the offerings that we have, but where it is particularly attractive for people is there are a lot of these investment companies will actually effectively pay you compensational income up front. So you don't have to invest 500,000, you can actually do it for a lot less. By having essentially interest from that company paid to you up front. And I'll come on to the different options we have. It sounds complicated, but it's not. But there's a number of different companies that do that. And I'll go through them shortly. But that's the one we tend to focus on from a tax perspective and from a lot of other areas. It's the best one to look at. It's not something you'd have to worry about because the fact that we're doing the investment for you, we know that it fulfills the criteria of what will get you the Golden Visa. So what we'll do now is we'll go through some of the options that we have. Okay, this is a really busy slide, but it's important because it just goes through. There's about, I think we've got about 5 different options on here, but it helps you understand the different options that we have. Again, this looks complicated, it's not. So this is part of that last one, the investment of 500,000, as I say, into a company. Now, the hospitality investments, we're looking at the hospitality sector. So you go by a navigator company, okay? We'll talk you through this in more detail if anyone's interested. But essentially, they've got a ready-built and operational 4-star hotel in Albufeira in the Algarve. So anyone familiar with the Algarve should know Albufeira. It's a very big location. I was there a couple of weeks ago. Very, very beautiful. So there's a hotel there, and they've got 60 apartments with 50 square meters. 60 apartments at 50 square meters and 60 apartments at 70 square meters. So there's 2 different options that people have who are investing. So they're investing into the business itself, but they have different apartments available within the hotel. This is, and I'll come on to exactly how that works. So your investment is going to be 500,000 for the smaller apartments or 550,000 for the larger apartments, depending on what you want. And now it become clear why I'm saying the apartments. It's part of the property that's there. this doesn't form part of the transaction to get you the golden visa because the property can't be used, but it's the company itself that you're investing in. But the company itself will actually offer you one of the apartments as security, and I'll come on to that in a second. So they've got apartments worth 500,000, they've got apartments worth 550,000, and you select which one you want. When you invest in either of these options, you get paid compensational income up front by the company. So it's at a rate of 3.37% for 6 years. So they'll pay you 20.2% up front. So that's paid as you make the investment. So instead of having to invest 500,000, you're immediately given 101,000. So you only need to invest 399,000. If you do the 550,000 option, it's a bit different. It's 111,000. You might prefer to have the slightly bigger property as collateral, which I'll come on to in a second. But if I just concentrate now on the lower one, your price after upfront income you have to invest is either 399,000 or 439,000 if you go for the bigger one. Furthermore, they also give you the option to finance a further 50,000. So you actually only then need 349,000 or 389,000. So we've already moved this down from needing to have 500,000 to only needing to have 349,000. In year 6, once you qualify for the Portuguese passport, remember you only need to spend 1 week a year, so you invest the money, you don't need to get involved in the hotel, it's all done for you. But in year 6, because you've had that investment then for the 5 years, use a guaranteed buyback of 500,000. So you get your EU passport and you'll get 500,000 back. So you know, because you had the interest paid up front, so you know what you're going to make from the outset. It's completely secure, completely safe. Or a guaranteed buyback of 550,000 if you go for the bigger property. Although this doesn't form part of the transaction to get the golden visa, the company itself, the hospitality investment, will offer you a property as collateral. So at the end of year 6, when you get the passport, if you don't want to exercise the guaranteed buyback and you think, actually, I'd rather just keep the apartment in the hotel, so let's say property prices had skyrocketed during the 5 to 6 years, then you might prefer to keep the asset, to keep an apartment. So it's up to you. You either keep the apartment if property's gone up, so it's a good way of hedging your bets, or you don't, and you just exercise your 500,000 back, even though, and you've only invested 350 or 399,000, depending on which option you go for. So it's a really, really good product, really, really popular, this. Plus, they give you 4 weeks stay per year free. Depends whether it's off peak or on peak. One week it could be in the on-peak season, which is June to September, and 3 weeks off-peak. So where you have to spend 1 week a year in Portugal, you can actually stay free in the hotel itself. You've got 4 weeks free stay a year as well. So really, really popular this. There's a couple of slides just showing you where it is if you're interested. If you know Albufeira, you can see there it's very close to the beach. It's very close to the centre. So essentially, you are a 3-minute drive to Albufeira centre or a 10-minute walk to Albufeira centre. And then you've got the 3 main beaches in the Algarve and Albufeira here, which are beautiful beaches. I've been there many times myself. So you're in a really good location, and it is a 4-star hotel as well. And it's near, again, they're sort of saying the same point here, but you're very near the beach and you're also very near the centre. So it makes it incredibly popular. It's a very much in demand location. Got some pictures here as well. We can go into far more detail if anybody's interested in this, but these are what the apartments, they will look like. They're already built as well. So that's some pictures of them as well. So that's the Albufeira offering. Again, that's one of them we have. The second options we have for people is Porto. So I went to Porto around 3 weeks ago. Beautiful location, very, very different from other parts of Portugal. Really, really nice. But they've got the riverside investment. So it works in a very similar way to the one I've just described. So you go via investment via a fund. So this is a fund, sorry. It's via the fund, this one, not the business. It's the same principle, really. So it's an investment fund that holds the asset of the hospitality company within the fund. Again, sounds complicated, but we can talk you through it in more detail if it's something you're interested in. It's a prime location in Porto. So again, you get your compensational income paid up front, which is 20.1%. So you get 101,000. Again, they do the same thing. They pay that up front. So you only have to invest 399,000. Guaranteed buyback in year 6 is 500,000. You get the property as collateral, so very, very similar to the Sol Aqua in the last one. You get the option to keep the apartment, or you get the option to exercise a guaranteed buyback. This one I don't believe I believe has the option to finance, but hold that thought, it might do. We can check that with the team if anyone's interested. This is due to be completed next year, the end of next year, and once it's operational you get 3 week stay per year as well, and it's surrounded by 5-star hotels. If you've been there, the Hilton, the Lodge and the wineries, very, very beautiful area, Porto, and a real prime location. So some people prefer more sort of the city than the Albufeira, but we have the 2 options. This is via a fund, the other one's via the business route. Really good offerings, both of these. Right, that's just explaining where it is in Porto, the different areas there. Anyone familiar with Porto? I won't spend too long on this here, but you can see that's the main river that goes through there. Next option we've got, again, proves quite popular, is the Navigator Collection. So you're investing in a group of hotels in the hospitality company, the Navigator Collection company. So they've got the Lagos, the Palm Oasis, the Pelican Albor, the Ocean Heights, Legacy Suites. So there's lots of different hotels that you're investing in. You're investing within the hospitality group. Again, it's an investment of 500,000. Compensational income paid up front, same as the others, 101,000 paid up front. You can have a loan of up to 74,000 on this one if you want to. So you only require 325,000, and you've got the guaranteed buyback as well in year 6. So again, another option we have, and I keep saying the same thing, but we can talk you through each of these options via a free consultation if you are interested. The next one is very different. So them ones they are all very similar, and it depends really what your interest is, which we can talk you through them. But the next one is a really interesting offering that we have actually done a few of, and some people would probably think, well, no, that's not really what I want to do. But other people actually think, no, it actually suits me. The idea of this one is a financing walk away option. Okay, so you basically pay 168,000 euros. Okay, that's your cost. That's all you have to invest. Okay, you pay it to the lender. So we've got a partner that we partner with. They invest for 500,000 clients, and they've been doing it for over 7 years. You don't have any investment exposure, but you're essentially paying 168,000 for the Golden Visa. There's no investment to this whatsoever. It's just you are paying that amount of money. The reason we offer it is because it's lower than the 250,000 donation route. It's only 168,000. You don't have any investment exposure, and after 7 years, once you've got your passport, essentially, it's nothing to do with you anymore. They keep the money. If they've made a loss or they've made money, it's not your worry. They've invested the 500,000 essentially in your name. They invest that themselves. They keep whatever it's made or whatever it's lost. That's their problem. You've paid essentially 168,000. They've got a track record of 25 years of offering financing solutions. They're very good company. Anyone that knows them, we can talk you through it. But bear in mind, it is a good option for people that might have money tied up and don't want to be taking out 399,000 or 350,000 or whatever option they're going for. But if you've got money tied up and it's making you a good return, you might think, well, I'd just rather just use 168,000 and essentially buy my Golden Visa. It's a very cheap way of doing it. So essentially, the way it works is you initially transfer 20,000 euros and you complete a knowing your customer file. Our process team will get you a tax number, bank approval, get you the bank account. So we do all the other bits. And once that's all done, you pay the remaining 148,000. The lender itself, the one that's acting on your behalf, will deposit the 500,000 into a bank account in your name, which is a qualifying Portuguese fund. And then you forget about it. And then in year 5, we will get you the passport as well. So it's appealing to some people maybe not so much. Another option we've got is the Mercan. This is relatively new. Anyone familiar with Mercan? Anyone familiar with the Mercan? It's a very big company, very popular. Again, you invest at 500,000. Prime location in Albufeira. It's a ready-built property. This one staggers the payments to you slightly differently. So you get your buyback guarantee of 500,000, but your buyback guarantee is paid in stages. So you invest your 500,000. Then you get 125,000 paid back to you after 30 days after the purchase. So almost immediately you get 125,000 paid back to you. Then you get 250,000 paid back in year 5, and then 125,000 euros in year 6. And you get 1 week per stay. There's no income or anything else to that one. It is popular for some people because you get your money back a little bit quicker. So we've got plenty of options. And in addition to this, we've got other Golden Visa funds that are available. So these are qualifying funds. So we've got a Mercan hospitality fund. We've got a Bitcoin fund for anybody that's interested. We've got a finance and entertainment fund, an AI fund, an Oxy Capital fund, an IMGA technical fund, an AI fund. So as I say, as we're wealth managers, as we are an investment company, we have got lots of different options, not just the ones I've gone through. But where I really want to drill home to people here is that there are lots of options. We've really sifted through all these options on the Portugal Golden Visa and found what are the best ones that are available, and they're the ones that we look at. It's not just one offering we have a number of them. But for anyone that's interested, we offer the free consultation, so we can talk you through your individual situation. So if you are watching this now, or we are going to send a recording out for everyone, there's a QR code, as I say, at the left-hand side of the screen. If you scan that, you can put yourself into my diary for a free consultation. You got my email at the top right. You got my telephone and WhatsApp there as well. You've also got the website. So I've got my own website called worldcbi.com. So have a look on that. It's just lots of information about all the different programs, Portugal, Spain, all the other ones. I've done some blogs on there as well to help you understand all the different ways that Golden Visas work and what residency is and citizenship is, and what the changes are to this program. So I keep that updated on a daily basis. So if you have a look on there as well. We've got Holborn Pass, which is obviously part of Holborn Assets. That's holbornpass.com. So that's our corporate website. And you'll find me on various other social media as well, as I mentioned before. I've not got too long for questions. I've got a couple that have come in. As I say, what's probably important on this one, someone's asked, well, someone's put here that they thought the Portugal Golden Visa program had gone. Is it going, or is there any chance it's going to be going? Right, so it's twofold this really, because the Spanish Golden Visa has been withdrawn and it is obviously the neighbour of Portugal. There is a chance, obviously, that at some point the Portugal government are going to say, okay, well, this is affecting our economy. We want to stop allowing people to spend money, a large amount of money in order to get a passport. So in answer to that, yes, it probably will go at some point. We don't know when. We haven't heard any murmurings, but a bit like the Spanish one, if it's something you're interested in, don't wait until it's too late, because we had a massive influx of the Spanish Golden Visa, and we still are. We've still got people literally phoning up now. They've left it to the last minute, and it just gets harder and harder to do. So something like the Portugal Golden Visa at the moment is very strong. They've just changed the rules to actually help applications go through quicker as well, which is a huge benefit for people. So there won't be the backlog anymore. So they've made moves to really encourage investment, but there have been a number of Golden Visa offerings that have gone over the last few years from other countries. So be mindful of it if it's something you're interested in. Next question. Is there a maximum amount of applicants that can apply? Right, so I think you mean, so no, there's no maximum amount. So basically you've got one investment amount. So if you did one of the investments we've got, let's say it's the low 168,000 offering, the walk away option, that 168,000, you can still tag on as many people as you can to that one application. So essentially you could have your dependent parents, you can have dependent children, you can have your spouse, you can have everybody on that one application. So that 168,000 could actually essentially get you 10 passports, so it's really good from that point of view. But any of them programs, there's no maximum amount. The onus is on us to prove that there is, for example, a dependency if it's your children or if it's your parents. There is a dependency there, but we can do that. We've got the infrastructure in place. We've been doing this for the last sort of 8 years. We've got a 100% success rate in getting applications through, so we can get that through in time for you. What I say for anybody, any further questions, because we are running out of time now, just make a note of my email, my WhatsApp. Obviously you've got the websites there. By all means, scan the QR code and book yourself in. From the point of view of moving forward, anybody that has any questions, please feel free to ask me. you know, it's one of these. Stop sharing the screen here. Yeah, feel free to ask. I'm here to sort of help. I know everyone's situation is individual, and that's why we have so many of these different investment types to make sure that we can cater for everyone essentially. So anybody that's interested, please get in contact. I hope you found that useful. I am available, as I say, for appointments. Just let me know, and I'll keep everybody updated via blogs on my website, my YouTube channel as well. So any new information comes up, I will be updating it on there. But thank you everyone for joining us. I hope you found that useful.